Lee and Luca. Yeah. How have you been, Nino? Feeling better than a couple of days ago?
Uh, Maybe. Was I sick? I'd have to remember.
No, yeah, during the Pred case.
Oh yeah. So here's what's been happening, Corolla. We had a lot of challenges in the first term, where like we would try to do things in the mayor's office, and pretty much Angel would single-handedly stop us from doing it, even though it was within our purview. So we just kind of attempted to do what we could to circumvent things. Like we'd find other things to do, try to get legislation passed, whatever. Eventually,
we did really, like, legislation and everything went really well.
yep. And
I think you guys did really well passing new legislation and laws.
yes, I think
Yeah, I remember a situation that she was
Hey, James.
basically she contradicted
doing,
you
James?
over
Mr. President.
the state. Yeah, over the state message system, which was very strange.
yes. So there was a lot of like just extreme passive aggressiveness. A lot of narrative of why are we not speaking to her when we would be the only ones that were going and even opening up that dialogue. There was a whole thing where I was able to change fines, and she did this whole thing, and she would put the blame on us, right? Whatever, we handled it. But I had no plan to run for a second term because of how much of a headache it was and how little we could actually progress in 3 months. Because for me, if there is no progress, it feels like a waste of time for me. And so that's when Pred said he wanted to run, and he seemed like somebody that was willing to work with me. And I think that remains true. But, and the big thing was, unlike the previous mayor, if Pred and I agreed on something, we both signed the legislation, it would become state law. We tried doing that with Andy, but she would just not even bother. Like, whether it was like G6 legislation, MOPEC, you name it, she didn't sign any of that stuff, even if it would be good for civilians. So with Pred, finally some ideas could come to reality. For example, legally making moonshine up here and having liquor licenses in the South, or just anything creative we would agree to, and it becomes state law. Well, as soon as he won the election, her street team, again, BCSO, they tried to serve a warrant on Pred to get him immediately thrown into jail. The moment he stepped off the stage winning the mayorship.
Oh, what basis were they using for that?
It was some like old bullshit. Like, I don't even remember what it was, but the warrant ended up getting thrown out.
Excuse me, are you a local? Elliot, not now.
Okay, so at least DOC did their due diligence on that one and didn't let them.
Yep. And then a week later, he ended up getting raided. He bought a warehouse in the evening, went to sleep, wasn't around the next day, and during that next day, his entire warehouse got raided, and they found a grow op. The thing is, though, they already knew that the warehouse belonged to somebody else. They were actively selling drugs in it. And so when this raid happened, we were like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it was over like a stolen firearms, right? Like unreported ones.
I mean, how can he have a full grow up in less than 24 hours?
Precisely. And so we were sus about it. We're like, I was like hampering on this. I was like, there's no way that he bought this and then next day there's a raid warrant, right? Something's like fishy about it. As it now comes out, and it's on the docket, is that the Marshals actually knew that someone else was selling drugs out of it. They knew the network, etc., etc. Yet, instead of concluding their investigation, it was an opportunity to get Pred out of power. So they pushed it to the docket. Now, In addition to that, I was being followed around with drones. I learned for God knows what reason. And so I go and request the FOIA for everything that I was involved in the last 4 months. This is very typical. I've done this for my clients. Other lawyers have done it for their clients. And because I'm like, if they're doing that with him, I want to know what if they're like trying to like dig up random bullshit on me.
Of course.
They refused to give me the FOIAs, and then the law got changed. They changed the FOIA law and made it so you have to A, tell them why you want it, which is insane. 2, every report that's produced. So if I request one, but there's 15 reports about it, you have to pay $3,000 per report. So that would be 15 times 3, right? And you have to know
45. Holy shit.
Exactly. And you would need to know who produced the report. And so, in other words, they tried to, Angel changed the legislation just because I'm asking for my reports, which is insane. And they changed the legislation to make them the uncontested authority, which effectively says we are the dictators and we can change the law any time we want. And so
I suspected this was going to happen.
Yep.
Too much power and a militarized group behind her, which are the Marshals.
Yep. So we ended up about 3 weeks ago now writing up an audit on that document that they bullshitted. And the state officials came back and agreed with our assessment is that from day one, the intent was there's the legislative branch, there's the executive branch in Blaine County, the executive branch in Los Santos County, and the medical arm. And that everyone has their own areas, but no one has like this ultimate authority. And as a consequence of that response, all the justices disappeared. So we challenged their authority legally through legal means, through the exact means that anyone else in the city can audit. And just because of the response, it's like now they're gone. So it's you know, what as a consequence of this, anything that we do is now is on pause. Preds effectively can't do anything. I can't effectively do anything. And it's create a dysfunction in government at this point. So he's not even allowed to use his own money.
Are you okay?
This is ridiculous, Nino.
Yeah. So
Do you think all of this is affecting you at home? It sounds really heavy.
wait, me?
All right, is this good?
Well, I mean, I
She
know
good?
me.
Oh.
No, Molly Rollins.
I've heard the name before. I don't know if I know Molly though.
We got to do a siren radio.
Maybe I do.
Tradition.
Are you
And that is,
are you a singer?
Annoy the fuck out
Yeah,
of
I used to
everybody on
be.
their phones by putting out our live tweet.
I haven't
Yeah,
made a
that's
song in
where
like
your
6
name
years,
is.
though.
Well, the
Chad,
ones you
does
made
Nino
are
know
so
Molly?
good that people still remember you as a singer.
That's so sweet. But honestly, I'm more concerned for this guy right here. It sounds like he's got a lot of trauma from his day job.
Hold on.
I'm
Honestly,
the
you sound like
mayor.
you need a spiritual retreat. When's
Yeah.
the last time you've taken a
Yeah, that's the
vacation?
one.
I'm taking vacation starting tomorrow, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm
how
so proud
long?
of you.
Yeah. That's right.
For how long?
Forever. He's gonna get the milk and never come back.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting to that point.
See? He
Yeah.
didn't,
I'm gonna go on a nice little yacht trip. You know what I mean?
It's in there somewhere with the red dots. There it is. There it is.
So.
a
Well,
yacht trip.
Yep,
Nino,
So
did,
there's-
a siren radio
did,
tradition.
first fill you up on the authority review that he's doing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well,
That guy's last name was weird.
What?
Nino, did the first
All right,
tell you
well,
about
for
the
any of
authority
you guys
review
that are
he's doing?
also, we're gonna do this just like we used to do.
To
Siren
Corolla?
Radio.
Oh, to Molly.
I'm gonna do the
No,
little
no,
intro
to,
and everything.
No, he's
and
asking
we're
you. I
gonna
signed
have
it already.
special
Yeah.
guests. We're gonna have audience participation. So
First
sit back,
Temple is
enjoy
doing
the
an
show. It
authority
should be a
review.
good
Have he
time.
told you about it?
Oh,
Gunshots,
really?
but
I
again,
I
it's
think
Siren
he
Radio. We
briefly
can't
told me
guarantee
about
that.
it.
So
I can
here we
tell you
go.
the details and what it is.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. I do want to go to this thing, so
Yeah.
let me know after this. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I got you.
All right,
You're
hell
gonna
yeah.
be shocked with the details. It's
Oh,
the angels
shit.
and marshals and the judge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, really?